Howdy folks, Keywii here, and welcome back to Doki Literature Club Plus. Today, we do another side story. We do Trust Part 2. I don't know how trust is involved, but you know what? It's fine. It's fine. Begin this side story, yes. Another day passes in a flash, and it's already time for the next club meeting. Although Monica should have come up with a plan for today's club task, she hasn't been able to shake her guilt and anxiety after reading Sayori's poem. I'm so stupid. How did I let myself be the center of attention? Sayori's going through these kinds of feelings and I'm letting her comfort me instead of the other way around? What kind of club president does that? This whole time, I didn't think to ask about her own feelings. So much for the stupid vision. Sayori enters the club room with her usual smile. But upon seeing the downcast Monica, her smile quickly fades into an expression of concern. Monica? Is everything okay? I'm really sorry. I'm such a terrible friend. You two barely know each other. I wouldn't really call you friends yet. Huh? What are you talking about? You're an amazing friend. Monica shakes her head. I made this all about me. Even you said so yesterday. You told me that I'm trying to make the club that I need the most, right? But my problems are so trivial compared to yours. Sayori responds quietly. What are you talking about? But as she says that, her face darkens. Through the silence, Sayori mutters her realization. I left my folder here. Monica stares blankly ahead, unable to come up with a response. I wasn't ready to share those. Now you're worrying about me. I don't want that. But why? We're friends, right? Wordlessly, Sayori nods. Friends will get it for each other. I want to be here for you as much as you're here for me. Another long moment passes in silence. The air is incredibly heavy. This is different. It wasn't just about you yesterday, it was about the club. Besides, things were so happy yesterday. You don't need to do all this. You don't need to do this all of a sudden. I don't want that. I like happy. So, if you do this, then you're just being selfish. Monica massages her forehead, struggling through the frustration of such a paradox. It's understandable that Sayori isn't ready to share certain things, but as unfair as it is for Monica to pry, it's also painful for Monica to force herself to ignore the needs of her friend. I'm sorry I looked. I disrespected your privacy. No, I don't blame you for looking. You'd have at least needed to check if it was mine. Yeah. Monica takes a deep breath. Okay. I understand that you don't want me to worry. And I think I'll be able to push this aside so that we can move on. But can you promise me something? Promise you what? Monica pauses to collect her thoughts. This is the literature club. It's a place where people can express themselves in ways that life normally doesn't allow them to. That's the vision. In fact, it's our vision. Right the way into your heart or whatever. So I just want you to promise me that you'll remember that too. It doesn't have to be right now, but I want it to be here for you when you need it. I want us to be ourselves like that. Sayori smiles gently. I'll promise if you promise. Unable to help it, Monica returns Sayori's smile. I promise. Me too. Alright, I promise. Yes. If you do it. Yeah, I do it. Okay, then I do it. I get it. It just makes sense, but it's just odd and fun. As the conversation closes, the mood in the room is lifted. With that behind them, it's time to proceed with club activities. So, want to teach me about poetry? Huh? But what about recruitment? It's fine, we have plenty of time for that. But right now, I feel like I want to do this. I mean, I do have to fulfill my end of the promise, you know? There's no way I could say no to that. Just don't expect much. I do a lot of writing, so it's not like I'm a scholar or anything. But it's not like I'm a scholar or anything. That's fine. I think I just need, some motivation. I never know where to start when it comes to writing poems. Starting isn't so hard. Just kind of write down your feelings and see where it takes you. Yes! You have an emotion in your head, and you start... I like to start with a single word. And the word, I don't know, it could be any word. Fucking cucumber. So I make a poem based around just starting the word on that. And I also like to finish my poems on the same word as the one I start with. So, just say I'm feeling depressed. So something along the lines of cucumber relents. Next line would be something along the lines of like, I don't know much about cucumbers, to be honest with you, but I'd look them up just to see what they look like. And then it'd be like, something along the lines of like, the green overtakes my, I guess I would use the word circumference in this case, because I start the sentence and then just sort of, I use my brain to autofill the rest of the sentence. So a lot of my poems make no fucking sense, but it's about emotion, right? So the words don't actually mean anything at all. It's all about the emotion behind it. And if I'm in that emotion the entire time I'm writing it, then you can feel it afterwards. Like, I've read back some of my emotions and I'm like, holy shit, this is so succinct. See where it takes you. Yeah, but it wouldn't come out any good. It's not supposed to. You're gonna have to fight your perfectionist mind on this one. You can just start by writing your feelings and see what kind of things it makes you think of. And then you can turn your feelings into a little story. And get your feelings down first, then it makes it sound pretty later. It's not like building a railroad where you go from one end to the other. It's more like a collage. A collage. Collage, where you find all the things you want to put in and then you arrange them in a pretty way. At least that's how I do it. It's not like it's the only way. Yeah, no, I go from start to finish, but with no goal in mind whatsoever, other than to express everything in 4 lines multiple times at a time. And sometimes I like to play with the lines. One time I did, every line was a letter of the alphabet. That was pretty neat. Well, good. It's really good not to, but it's really good not to get stuck at the beginning. I understand. Yeah, I always get so caught up in how it sounds that I forget about what's actually important. Monica pulls out a pen and paper and starts writing on. Stop being a perfectionist. You idiot. I'm just kidding. Monica scribbles out, you idiot, after she writes it down. Kind of lame for a joke, but alright. No, keep it. What? Why? Are you calling me an idiot? Of course not. But the point is that you're not supposed to police your feelings, right? Be as dramatic as you want. But I was just... Well, yeah. Underneath the scribble writes and stares at the paper. Her words stare back at her. Kind of funny how I wrote down what I'm mad at myself for, and then I did the exact thing anyway. This is really gonna take some getting used to. Yeah, I'm sure it would. Like, I've never had trouble with that sort of thing. Like, even in high school, I was doing that kind of thing. But I've had people tell me that it's really hard to express their feelings, and while I don't understand, it's interesting. I'm the one with autism. Shouldn't I have trouble with that, not them? I believe in you. Thanks, I do too. Me, I mean. But also you, of course. Monica continues the exercise, jotting down her thoughts. It's surprisingly quite a struggle to write without overthinking it. For after a while, with Sayori's guidance and encouragement, Monica's sheet of paper begins to look fairly lively, peppered with all of her random thoughts. Hey! Monica looks up and down her sheet. Gosh, I feel so tense looking at this. I hate it. It's also kind of liberating. I can tell how hard you're trying. It makes me happy. I think you'll be good at writing poems. Well, don't give me too much credit. I'd have to try really, really hard at it. But I think it's something that I'll enjoy doing. With you. Oh my god, it's adorable. Sayori beams. I'll stop here, but we seem to have time. Let's try to work on a new flyer for the club. I won't be so picky about the language. Yeah, let's do it. Monica and Sayori proceed with their work. With each passing day, the two of them become more confident in the club. Not simply from their recruitment planning, but from their vision as well. As their bond strengthens, so does the essence of the literature club. Finally, they begin to truly feel it's only a matter of time before they find new members. Oh, was that it? Oh man, that was way shorter than the first part. Okay. Another day passes. As usual, Monica's the first one to the club room. With her is a printout of a revised literature club flyer, complete with the all-new ideas Monica and Sayori came up with. Only if this was the flyer we gave to that one reading girl the other day. So much more attractive than the old one. But the new catchphrase is clearly identified in the center of the flyer. Write the way into your heart. Surely common sense would say that one writes from the heart, not into the heart. But the message being delivered is that one can use writing to discover themselves. Hopefully. Monica and Sayori had thought that it would be enough to garner some curiosity from the students. Why do I feel so tense looking at this? Monica thinks back to the previous meeting when she performed the writing exercise. Was I always this bad at expressing myself? How am I supposed to be present if I can't even demonstrate what the club is supposed to be about? The literature club is truly beginning to take form. But with that, the weight on Monica's shoulders only becomes heavier. Debate club was always about rigid structure, formulating airtight points and counterpoints and delivering them with conviction. It was about the passion on the outside. It was about the person on the outside. That's why Monica was good at it. It existed entirely within the realm of her comfort. Her realm of comfort. It's suffocating. I need to break through this mental wall. I need to learn to express myself for realsies this time. Monica pulls out a sheet of paper and grabs her pen. She presses the tip of the pen firmly against the paper. But her hand doesn't move. Instead, a tiny blot of ink collects around the tip of her pen. Hey, Monica's writing tip of the day. Monica lifts her pen and stares at the ink blotch. For some reason, she feels compelled to run her fingers across it. Interesting. As she does, the black ink smears across the pen, ruining Monica's canvas. Ugh. And despite of herself, Monica presses the pen down once again, letting the ink collect. She creates a second smear on the paper. Come on, Monica. Just move your hand. Monica writes. This is what I get for seeking perfection. A stain. That's actually kind of poetic. Monica slides the paper away from her and puts her head down on the desk. The air conditioner seems louder today. I'm here. Hi. Monica hears Sayori approach her desk, then stop for a second, probably reading the piece of paper. Then she sits down at the adjacent desk. Bad day? Mm-hmm. Me too. Aww. You too? The new flyer looks so good. You've been working so hard. On the club, but also something else, I think. The pauses are alright, I get it. It's for dramatic effect, but it's a lot. It's a lot of pausing. I can't do it. I'm sorry. It's so hard to just be vulnerable. Sayori takes a sheet of paper from Monica's desk. She writes something down, then stares at it for a while. Can I trust you? Of course. You can trust me with anything. Sayori gazes at Monica with sadness in her eyes. Understanding the signal, Monica takes the paper from Sayori's desk and reads it. Oh no, that's really sad. Sayori. This is really, really hard for me. Her voice shakes. So if I can do it, then you can too. Because you're like a million times better than me. That's completely not true. Sayori takes a deep breath, trying to steady herself. That's something about me that I've never told anyone before. Even now, my head is like screaming at me to stop. Wait, you don't have to force yourself. I mean, just because of the promise yesterday. I want to. It just feels right. I mean, maybe it's part of the reason I came to this club in the first place. This is the literature club. I trust you more than I'm scared. At those words, Monica stands up. Sayori must have taken days to work up the courage for this. With Monica's own futile but genuine efforts actually the push that Sayori needed. Oh yeah. Sayori's deliberate breaths can be heard over the air conditioner. As she prepares herself to continue, Monica waits in gentle silence. I have this problem where I get really upset when people worry too much about me. I can't control it. It's like, why waste your energy worrying about me when you can just be happy instead? So I never tell anyone about these kinds of thoughts that I have. It's so much easier to just smile and help everyone else be happy. But that's terrible. That's what Monica wants to say, but she stops herself in fear of saying the wrong thing. It's just that if everyone knew about it, they wouldn't treat me the same anymore. Like, whenever I'm not smiling, everyone would worry about me and ask me what's wrong. I know that because it used to be like that. So he pauses, seeming to recall something in the past. I just want everyone to be happy. That's the most important thing to me. And letting people look inside my head doesn't bring happiness to anyone. So he pauses again, her solemn expression making her look almost like an entirely different person. How'd you find the courage to tell me this? You're not worried that I'll be one of those people too, right? I am worried. Part of me really hates myself for doing this. But another part of me, I think, just felt it would be different this time. Whenever we talk about the club is supposed to mean... What? Whenever we talked about what the club is supposed to mean, I kept feeling like it was right for me to do. Especially after you've been trying so hard to express yourself, too. It just made me feel like I could say it in confidence. And our friendship doesn't have to change. It's so silly. The club is only 2 people, but it already means this much to me. Monica feels a tightening sensation in her chest. Yeah, as you should. A feeling of connection as Sayori's emotions radiate between them. Me too. I was so lost until you showed up. You're so brave, Sayori. You're so strong and brave. I don't even compare. Monica steps forward. But if nothing else, I can at least offer you some hug energy. Aw, if you'd like. Oh my god, it's fucking cute! Oh no! Oh, it's adorable! Oh, it's being good friends with each other! Hang on, I need to go down to my fucking tissues to cry. Wordlessly and without a smile, Sayori rests her forehead on Monica's shoulder. Through their contact, Monica can almost feel the torrent of thoughts swimming in Sayori's head. And at this moment, enchanted by the air of the club, Monica realizes that all the days that have passed, this is the one where she really, really hopes that nobody new walks through the door. She speaks softly. You're like the sweetest girl I've ever met. You can say anything, I'll never judge you. I promise. Sayori's breath begins to quiver. She takes several deep breaths, trying as hard as she can to start speaking, to say the things she's never once dared to say out loud. Finally, she speaks in a choked voice. I'm so worthless. I'm worthless and everyone would be better off without me. She suppresses a sob as a tear falls down her cheek. I'm just an inconvenience to everyone. I'm not good at anything, and it just feels like everyone... Huh? It just feels like everyone just has to put up with me, and I hate it. I hate it. The more Sayori speaks, the more she feels or she fails to control her voice, falling victim to the overwhelming sadness clutching her throat and chest. God, it's hitting me too! I don't want to have these thoughts. I want them to go away, and now I'm making you put up with me, and I just want to die. As soon as Sayori loses her composure, Monica becomes determined to keep her own. She only wants to be what Sayori needs right now, so she won't let any sadness show. Her voice comes through soft and gentle. This isn't putting up with you. This is being your friend. Monica offers a few words of comfort, But she knows, Sayori said it herself, that the thoughts Sayori experiences are ones that don't belong. Monica can't magically make them go away. Most she can do is help Sayori battle them like any good friend would do. You have so much value. To me, and your other friends, too. This club wouldn't be the same without you. I really, really mean that. You coming here was the best thing that could have ever happened. Even if we never got any other members, I would still be happy. That's what you brought here. You brought us a vision. You also brought happiness. And that's your favorite thing to do, right? Hang on. I'm legitimately fucking crying. This is hitting pretty hard. Sayori doesn't respond, and Monica feels her gently nod. No more words are needed between them. The two share their embrace for a while longer, Monica letting Sayori take as much time as she needs. Once her breathing steadies and her sniffles finally cease, Sayori lifts her head and wipes her eyes. I guess I needed that. Some days are harder than others. Well, I'm here whenever you need me. But any other time, I'll make sure that things are the way they usually are. If that's what makes you happy. Thanks. You're the best. No, you are. The two exchange smiles. You know, I'm sorry to bring this up all of a sudden, but have you considered talking to a professional? Sayori nods. It's scary, since it's already so hard to tell people. Yeah. Well, of course it will always be your choice, but if you're ever looking to find the courage for it, I can do my best to help you. Thank you. I think it helps knowing that you would. Sayori suddenly yawns and stretches. Wow, that made me tired. And hungry. Well, I won't make you do any work today if you're not up to it. No, I want to. I mean, I can say that it's definitely one thing that makes me happy. Monica smiles. But I might want to get a snack first. All of a sudden, the sound of the door causes the two of them to turn their heads. The door opens halfway, then stops. A face peeks inside. A face that seems familiar. Oh! Hey! Got some mail! Side stories. Thank you to everyone who worked so hard on the control simulation. I can't imagine how tedious it must have been to so delicately hide Monica's elevated permissions from her without disrupting her connection to the VM. Just to clarify, all the recordings labeled side stories are part of the control simulation, right? I'm noticing some details of the characters' lives here and there that differ a little bit from those in VM1, even trivial ones. Is it part of the butterfly effect for some of Monica's more fundamental changes? Or is it a result of her just messing around with the other characters in VM1 and her own experiment, or for fun? So, if I'm keeping track, we have, what, like 5 different universes in total, with 3 or 4 of them created and then destroyed by Monica? Of course, it's funny because I keep wanting to speculate on which one is the real universe, but in reality they all are. As real as ours is, anyway. The fuck? I was about to go on a thing saying, oh man, depression and it's real and, talk to people, but what the fuck? Apparently the side stories are some kind of computer simulation that keeps the real Monica. Oh, what the fuck? Okay, alright, yep. This is good. This is fine. Let's get some fucking good ass pictures. Like that one. Oh, we're gonna get some motherfucking side story images. Some goddamn side story images. It's gonna be amazing. Hug energy. Anyway, that'll have to be it for this particular episode of Doki Doki Literature Club Plus. Thank you guys so much for watching. And of course, with Keywii, I'm great to you yourself for a delightful day. There's fucking files in the multiverse and shit. I love you. Goodbye.